Hello, hello. This video is for Love Soy Heroin Church, and I am so glad I found you again. I remember I watched your videos a couple of years ago, and it made me so sad. And it's just so incredibly sad for me to think about all the living beings in the world who suffer and who don't have a way out of this, out of this constant feeling like a wounded deer, feeling cornered, and feeling like there is no escape at all, and out of this dimension, I would say, So um, I personally have suffered my whole life with depression, and it feels good for me to find people who understand that and who know what's going on. I don't know, maybe you are Josie? Are you Josie? So I don't know if you're Josie. Maybe you are. I met someone, Josie. I'm not gonna say the full name because I want to protect him. But I met a Josie on Facebook, and I met him at the philosophy group, and so it could be. I just had this feeling that could be you. But I get very intuitive sometimes about people and faces and energies and stuff. But anyway, I love Josie very much, and I love you, and maybe you're the same person, maybe not. But it is in the same context of aphilism and anti-natalism and mental friends of Gary in Mentham. I am not a physical friend of Gary in Mentham because he doesn't like me. I don't know why, because I agree with him on so many things. I agree with him on like maybe 85% or something roughly. That's a lot. I mean, don't I go through my daily life in person or on the internet, and to find someone who even agrees with me for 30%, that's already like a gold strike. So yeah, and I have never met anyone who I agree with 100%. So that's just plain and simply impossible. It doesn't exist. It will never happen. I don't think it will ever happen, and why should it? So it's not that important. So I'm very different to most people. Obviously, I have no friends except my husband Paul, and we have friends in the animal world outside. We feed squirrels and stellar jays and chipmunks and brown squirrels and rats and all kinds of beings that are there. They're our friends, but not among humanity. So very few, and I don't even know if I can call them really friends. So maybe Kenny Pollock in LA. So that's Paul's husband, and it is always nice talking to him. We don't agree on a lot of things, and I think I agree with him maybe on like 10% or something, or maybe 30%, maybe 35. Okay, but he's overall, I think he means well, and he wants to learn, and so he's a student of life, as I call him, his level, and he is learning and learning and learning and learning, and that's what's important. That's what matters. And then many other people are quite stagnated. I call them the stagnators. That's the majority of humanity. Stagnator souls. And so it has basically the wisdom levels are congruent with those from Dr. Lawrence Kohlberg. I don't know if you heard about this psychologist from the United States. I think somewhere around 1920. He was teaching at universities. He wrote books on ethics, and he established the 6 levels of moral reasoning, and it just sounds right to me. And so later on I developed wisdom levels, and I realized that they are completely in tune with those 6 levels of moral reasoning as well. It's just those are just different states of understanding and learning levels, and those are vastly different, of course, among all of us, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's neither bad nor good. People are just at different learning levels, and the majority of humans are stagnators, which is the bottom level, level 1, according to Dr. Lawrence Kohlberg, and that is the level of infancy, according to Dr. Kohlberg, infancy reasoning, like the baby doesn't know better. The baby just has to be fed and taken care of, and the reasoning of the baby is, I want it now. And consequences of actions just don't occur to the baby. And that's all okay. But it's not so okay, as we know, if it occurs in 80-year-olds, 50-year-old, or 30-year-old people. That should not happen anymore at those ages. But that is the case with, I would say, 95% of humanity. And so if we look at it from that angle, and if we see this, from above, and we can see where we are in this picture and where our friends are and where everyone is, then maybe we can change our perspective on it. We can change our demand for society. We can understand that we cannot demand cooperation from someone who is just not ready to work on that level. So, and it's very tragic that most people are not capable of cooperating, of taking responsibility for themselves or for other beings. And most parents are not capable at all of taking care of their children, and it's completely beyond their managing level. And the result of that is that all of us are messed up, to the point where some people just don't want to live anymore. And it's something that stays with us for the rest of our lives. If we are not loved as infants, if we are not cuddled, if we don't get that physical touch, the physical confirmation of love, this holding. Franz and Arjanov talk about this in depth in their books. The importance of the holding and of the loving, and this very special feeling, this very special bond, that I feel to my dog. This special connection. My dog died about a month ago, and I'm crying every day. It's horrible. It's real horrible grief. And so if everyone gets this love that I gave to my dog, if everyone gets that love, if every being gets that love during infancy, the entire world would change. We can make a paradise out of this existence. If people just understood this, at least if they could just hear this message. It's still a long stretch from hearing to a new application of existence, of action. But if they at least hear this message, then things can start to move forward. And this message is not propagated, quite the opposite. It keeps the same energetic level propagated that it is in. It's very difficult for it to leap out of its own energetic vortex. I don't like the word. No, this energetic whirlpool, energetic polarization, this polar loop, of just never-ending horrors and never-ending depletion, and then it just can't seem to leap itself out of that, and also just keeps on perpetuating the same message over and over again. The message to people. Calvin Klein ads. It's perfect. This is like the prototypical example for this. Calvin Klein ads, I don't know what he's doing now, whether he's been overturned now by people like myself who embrace chubbiness. But it's this message to the world, thou shall be skin and bones, or you stand no chance at love at all. And that is that's one of the many horror messages that perpetuates itself and is being perpetuated by many, many, many people, by celebrities as well as by people who are doing nothing with their lives, and it's perpetuated by broken minds, whether they have a million or 10 million supporters or just 10, it doesn't matter. They all perpetuate that message. Every single person of the stagnators do it. And then we have 5% of other people, the other levels, level 2 to 6, which is level 2 is student of life. Okay, it's already a much better state to be in. And this is what I'm trying to get people to leap up to at least to that level, student of life. If you can, if people can, I know you are much more, you're on much higher level. No, I'm not talking about you. If people, when I say you, if you people in the world, if you guys can jump up to that second level, then we can get way more things accomplished, and we will move faster towards the goal of making the world a better place. So when I watch your videos, I can say that I would say that you're an indigo. That's a very high level. I am on that level myself, and I recognize that when someone is on that level. I recognize that right away. For the other people, it takes me a little bit longer to recognize on which level they are, but if I observe them long enough, I can approximately fit them in on this scale. And then there are some angels, and then there are some gods, like God soul level, not in terms of creator or anything, but like it's a wisdom level. So I don't know. You might probably be an atheist. I'm a panpsychist. I used to be an atheist. I grew up agnostic. My husband is an atheist. I had a migraine vision, so it was extremely powerful, and on the level of those visions that Hildegard von Bingen had in 1160, 1170, and that's quite an amazing soul, at Hildegard von Bingen. And these visions were so amazing. I'd never seen that, what I saw in those visions. I'd never seen that in person before. And then I started to research it, and there it was. So it's a long story. I wrote a book about this, actually. I wrote several chapters in that book about this particular phenomenon that I had. And ever since then, I started to look into the metaphysics more. During my atheist years, I was not really an atheist either, because no one who converts or changes to something else from an atheist has ever been an atheist. So the real true atheist, as Gary Mendham or my husband, does not leap out into something else ever, and never had before. So it never understood any of it. It's a very pure mental state. I call it the tabula rasa. It's a beautiful mental state. It's a beautiful learning platform. Okay? But as with everything else, the word everything doesn't even exist, but that's a different story. But with infinity else, there is infinity. And when there's infinity, which is just a mathematical fact, there is infinitely more than that type of worldview, that type of capping it off to the top. Yeah, so I will make more videos about this another time, because that in itself is a very complex subject, and it's philosophy. And so I consider myself to be a panpsychist, because I acknowledge that there is infinitely more to find out, to research, to see, to explore, and there's just infinitely more in existence. And it is getting very convoluted the deeper we dive into it. And there's a very excellent book that I'm reading right now by Dr. Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief. Very, very interesting, because he's examining the whole brain and finding more and more and more about power of mind, and something that goes much, much, much deeper than people have acknowledged before. But Bruce Lipton doesn't make the mistake of equating that with some religion or with some kind of belief concept at all. So he's just the total explorer cosmonaut that goes infinitely, that will infinitely learn and infinitely explore. And that's where I'm at that level where I acknowledge that this is how it is. It is an infinite exploring and learning more and more and more. And we will look back later on and see, they thought that they thought thunder is a god. No, we know it's electricity. And it will also happen with other things. And we will also later on see the atheists stopped here, but it goes further. You know what I mean? So it's very interesting. And being on this quest myself, it feels very raw sometimes. It feels very, if you really allow this, if you allow that what is fully, it's not easy, but if you really get into it through Vipassana meditation and other meditations, and just in particular the Tibetan meditation, Pema Chodron, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche, those people, they have talked about this. The main philosopher is Jiddu Krishnamurti. This going into this state of complete allowing. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about it. State of complete allowing. Dr. Arthur Janov talks about it. Comes from another perspective at it, but they all find each other at that core of the ground zero of mind exploring. And Dr. Bruce Lipton, of course, and many other people. So it is an amazing state, and the mind is very clever, as Jiddu Krishnamurti always says. It out-tricks itself. Dr. Arthur Janov always pointed out how the defense mechanism, which is the ego, is extremely intelligent and finds escape routes to not look at reality. But as we are swaying away from the actual reality, the actuality of things, that is when we get into the loop of suffering. If we can allow ourselves to be in that moment of, this is it. Like, I'm going to use some example. Gary Inmanton rejected me. I had a huge crush on him 8 years ago. And even though that was the case, my husband still totally loves that guy. And I thought that was cool. But he could see that Gary Inmanton was not at all interested in me. So that made him feel better. But anyway, I felt extremely hurt, right? Extremely rejected. I felt ugly. I felt like, oh, I'm not attractive. Gary rejects me. I must be ugly and unattractive. And so when I have run away from this, and my ego tricked me, and I ran into this and that and that and that, and I got mad at Gary Inmanton, and I made a video saying, he's wrong on starting nitpicking. It's all an escape route. But the real thing is, he rejects me, okay? So let me look at that, what is. He rejects me. It's flat out rejection. And I'm gonna have to accept it, like, this is it. And I have to accept it. And it's actually good. It's good. This is good. It's a learning experience. It's exploring. Yeah. So when I really let myself accept that, then the tears will come, then maybe some screaming in the pillow at first, and maybe some pounding on the mattress. Then the tears will come, and this feeling, I am hurt. And then it goes back to childhood, because it does. Otherwise, it wouldn't be such a big deal. It always goes back to baby. And then I go back to childhood, as in primal therapy. I did this for 10 years. It was very helpful, by the way. And I realize, this is my old feeling. It's my old pain. Yeah, I can dissolve this. I can dissolve that stuff. It doesn't have to bother me anymore. I can feel again how it felt. I go right into it. How does it feel, this rejection? It feels bottomless. It feels like feeling ugly and rejected. Feels like I'm worthless. It feels like I don't mean anything. I'm some kind of nobody. I'm like whether I live or die doesn't matter to anyone. I am just a piece of shit, So, and that feeling, that's what a baby feels. when the mother does not give enough hugs and touch, and when the mother doesn't find the baby cute, you know, like this cuteness, like I want to feel you, I want to feel your skin, and you're so cute, like what I feel with my dog. When that isn't there, the entire next 100 years are completely fucked up. I mean, it's like it's it's something between severe addictions, suicidal thoughts, like a lifetime of being suicidal. That's my case, and I also alcohol addiction, which I quit. Smoking, I quit. Like I quit. Always tended to take some uppers and stuff like this. I quit all of that. I quit caffeine. I finally quit my mental illness pharma drugs, all of that in 2003. I quit that after that migraine headache also, and started to really look at myself. I really took the journey within completely. And that completely changed my life. And it's not like now I'm living in paradise, but I feel like I'm not shackled anymore. I feel like my mind is free and I can move forward. I can continuously move forward, and that is basically, that's the state that we all should be in. That's like, as people always used to say, the path is the goal. My goal is to be even on the path. If we're not even on the path, then we are completely shackled, and we are confined by our own fears and beliefs systems, and social fear and all of these things. So if we can completely get out of that, then we are free, and then we can move forward gradually. And that feels so much better. And so when negative feelings come up, we can feel it, we can reconnect it with the old pain, and we steadily move forward with it. And we will feel better and better and better as we do it. And the most important thing that I want to say to the world is, we need to give each other foot massages. We need to give each other physical touch, okay? Regardless of sexuality and all this bullshit, you know. So we need everyone's a puppy dog, and every puppy dog and every human needs touch and love. Every animal, okay? So maybe I'll make another video in the future. You guys take care. Bye bye.